Here we are, returning back to Sexy, Free, and Single. That's right. Let's get back to it. It's been a hot minute. Since I've listened to some of these older tracks. The new track I've been listening to is fairly rock.
Every single day I try, 정말 거의 다 왔어.
Look at that hair.
We get close to good time, 시간들의 signal. Sexy free and single, 이제 준비는 완료. Sexy free and single, let it to bingo. Hey 누구나 쉽사리 갖는 건 재미없잖아. 좀 더 높게 세게 라라라라라 위에서 박혀되는 차갑게 닿게 되는 것좀 더 버텨 라라라라라 내 사람아 날 더 믿어줘 난 뒤져 메이크업 수면 위로 인지전에 닿기 벗어나서워져 이젠 upgrade 한 단계로 나가 숨이 차게 달려와 멋지게 끝낸 그대 have a good time 오늘만큼 party time 가슴이 요동치는 승리를 높아 이제는 have a good time 누가 그댈 맡겠나 Sexy free and single I'm ready to bingo Sexy free and single I'm ready to bingo 육식불이한 확률에 맞서 겁내지 말고 육식불이한 확률에 뱉고 어디가도 bingo 무겁다고 무섭다고 포기하지는 마 이제부터가 진짜 나나나나나나 누구나 한 번쯤 다 겪어보는 것뿐 We fail, we lose, to win 두려워하지 마라 내 사람아 난 더 강해졌어 드디어 우리 time romance 더 멋진 꿈을 향해 또 날아가겠어 다시 upgrade 지켜봐 맡겨봐 전래당해진다 Sexy 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 이 꽃이 세상을 마주하지 준비된 점 아는 걸 Sexy 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 여긴 끝도 없는 변수만큼 have fun 숨이 차게 달려와 멋지게 끝낸 그대 have a good time 오늘만큼 party time 가슴이 요동치는 승리를 높아 이제는 have a good time 누가 그댈 맡겠나 Sexy free and single 난 좀 괜찮은 남자 Sexy free and single 난 좀 됐다는 남자 육식불이한 확률에 맞서 겁내지 말고 육식불이한 확률에 뱉고 어디가도 bingo 이 세상 끝에서 또 한 번 숨을 돌리고
Oh yeah.
날 지켜준 사람 소중한 믿음을 간직해 기대해도 좋아 Let's go Sexy free and single I'm ready to bingo Sexy free and single I'm ready to bingo 자기 달려와 멋지게 끝낸 그대 have a good time 오늘만큼 party time 가슴이 요동치는 승리를 높아 이제는 have a good time 내가 그댈 맡겠나 Sexy free and single I'm ready to bingo
You know, again, one of those things that I find kind of interesting. This is kind of the era of K-pop that I've kind of established the channel on for a long time. In fact, I kind of refused to do newer groups because I was afraid that it just wouldn't be as good. And you know, the funny thing is like I don't really have as much skin in the game, and I'm not like, you know, some of my viewers who have been with this since the beginning. But the funny thing is again, I still have this feeling of like, oh, this is coming back to the good old times when, you know, I was a little more simple and a little bit more of just, you know, a funny kind of quirky side genre that wasn't really what it is today. And in a sense, like, I kind of wish that it was there again. I feel like that it's not as cohesive as it used to be in a lot of senses. I think it has that same feeling of just like being a little bit more free, taking a little less serious in a lot of senses. And again, that's kind of more or less where I feel like Super Junior really thrives as well, as just being free and carefree and a little unserious. But I mean, the truth is that this performance is pretty magnificent. I'm not gonna lie. And again, the interesting thing is like when it comes to like groups that I listen to a lot, I find it interesting because there's always songs that kind of fall by the wayside, and weirdly enough, like for me, this was one of them. Mainly because the fact is like what I personally like in music, and what I don't really necessarily put on as much, is a pretty wide margin. A lot of times I find that, as you know, especially as I get older, and I admit, like, my music tastes have kind of chilled out quite a bit. So listening to something like this, it's like kind of listening to it for the first time. And the interesting thing is that whenever we listen to a group that has I would say a very storied career, you can just kind of see the effect that they have had on the industry all the way up until even now. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like that there's a lot of key things that really stick out to me. Kind of that the electronic dance feel to it is something that we're still feeling to this day. I think also just in a lot of senses the way that they even have their choreography as being a little bit more unified, but not super crazy. I feel like that they have a little bit of that in there. I don't really consider them, at least for me personally, like, I don't think of, like, choreography in my first thoughts not generally Super Junior, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have, you know, a lot of influence on what they were doing. And so when it comes to listening to a song like this, I think to myself, like, I find it interesting because I feel like that it absolutely has inspired a lot of songs that have retained a similar feel. And I think that that's an impressive thing. And again, they've been together for a while now, and I think it's 19 years if I remember correctly. And honestly, there's a very few groups that I feel like that has really quite made as much impact as Super Junior has, and I think that that's fair to say. And I honestly feel like too that I think sometimes people undervalue the career that they've had, because I think that there's a lot of stuff that they've done to really kind of show the path forward and their influence that they had, not just on stage too, but how to handle things off stage and things like that. I feel like that it's a little undervalued. So anyway, happy anniversary to Super Junior. I am excited to see what you have planned from here on out. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.